Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Evian blog. So today I've got quite an exciting episode for us. Compliments of Scoop South Africa, www.scoop.co.za or scoop.co.za. They've kindly loaned us some gear to give us a bit of a tryout on. Currently today on the bench we're going to be playing with a rather nice piece of equipment. This is a Yeastar model S50 PBX system. Complete PBX in a box basically. Operating system, device, the whole thing in a rack mount device. This is one of the bigger models, or medium sized models I should say. It's quite an exciting review for me because I've been dying to get my hands on one of these things for a while, and for review purposes to spend a couple of £1,000 on a device just to review it seems a bit silly to me, but quite honestly, if I had the money to do that I would have done it anyway because these things are brilliant. But we're going to give it a complete workout, see how it works out, put it up against the 3CX and see what sort of functionality set we get for a device like this. Now these devices, for dealers out there, these devices can be purchased from Scoop. They carry quite a nice range of the Yeastar PBX equipment. If you'd like, you can head on to their website at, like I said, www.scoop.co.za. Links will be provided below the video, and you can check out the different devices that they sell. Alternatively, if you're a business or a home user out there and you see something you like, you can get in touch with us at Evian, www.evion.co.za. That's evione.co.za, and we can definitely also be able to help you out with acquiring some of this equipment for your business or home use, or small home office or whatever. So to the exciting part, let's get this thing out of the box and see what it looks like and what sort of functionality sets it has.
Yeah, the first thing to note when you get inside the box is you get this smaller box with the quick start guide. It includes a power cable, a Cat5 Ethernet cable, and a rack mount kit for the device. So you can get it rack mounted. We're not going to worry about any of this stuff right now. We're just going to actually get the device powered up and connect it up to the network and see how it functions. So let's take a look at the actual device. Alright, starting at the back, you've got your power switch, your power connector, an earth point. Enough ventilation here on the sides of the device to ensure good sort of airflow from the server rack side of things. And there you have the PBX. Now we've got various status LEDs and connectors starting from the left over here. Power and system. Let's get in a bit closer there. Then we've got WAN, LAN, an SD card slot, and then ports 1 to 8. Now these are analog ports, so they use basic analog telephones to basically take care of business. You don't need to have a VoIP phone per se, just a standard analog telephone, and this thing will get you connected with VoIP. So let's connect it up and then take a look at the software and set it up on a SIP trunk and see what we can do with it.
Hey guys, so what I've done is I've taken the Yeastar PBX, I've put in a temporary sort of home router, basic Edimax router, or tender router. I think I used an Edimax router. I've got it getting DHCP address from my current network, and it's on its own .192.168.5.1 network, or .0 network I should say. The Yeastar is connected to that, and I've got a secondary computer connected to that. What we're going to do now is we're going to see if we can log into the interface. So I've created a separate subnet of my current network. My current network is .2. Whatever, this is .5. Whatever, just to get it simply working. But what I'm thinking is, instead of connecting the Yeastar to an outside trunk, I'm going to connect it through the router to an internal trunk, which is my own current PBX server, and use that for testing purposes. So let's carry on and check it out.
Okay, so just to give you a bit of a closer rundown, this is just the temporary router that's running the network. This phone is connected into the router through a triple PoE box over here, and this device is connected to the router via the LAN port. Now I've got no FXS ports or anything like that hooked up. I'm just using this IP phone, and if we have a look here, it is registered on the .551 IP. It's registered on the
on this Yeastar PBX. The setup of this thing was incredibly simple, much simpler than anything I've ever used in the past. So I think rollout on this sort of device is going to be a hell of a lot faster than a lot of other systems that I've made use of. This one is currently connected on extension 1000. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to dial 110, which is what this extension is set up on the other phone, and then see if it rings through onto this system. And if not, basically I'm dialing from my outside PBX, which this is now interfaced into, to do some testing. So let's check it out. Okay, I am going handheld for this because I'm going to have to move around. Now, like I say, this PBX is registered on my PBX server as extension 110. I've set inward and outbound on the Yeastar for this device. So basically, if I now dial 100, that'll be the extension that's on my PBX, not on this one. So we're putting 100, and there you go. Let's go across here, and we'll see it's coming in from 110, which is what that PBX is registered on. Happy days. And if we answer it, hello, test 1. Okay, so that was an internal call, and it actually worked very well. Happy days with that. Let's head back over here now. Okay, this phone is back on the hook. Now technically, if I phone 110 from my phone, it'll then phone that PBX and forward to that phone. So let's try that. It's going in. And we've got nothing happening that side. Maybe I don't have the rule set up. 110. Dial. Okay, so I've got it ringing. I believe I don't hear anything, but we've got nothing coming in over there. So back to the software, and we'll see what we've got to do there. Okay, I believe the issue was with the routing over here. If I go in, I assigned the register, but I didn't assign it to an extension. So we're going to try to an extension 1000. And then hit the save button and the apply button, and we're going to try again. Let's see what happens now. So now we're going to go 110, dial, and there it is. If you answer, the connection is up. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so that's all working nicely. Happy days for that one. Quite simple, I must say. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of an overview. I'm going to go to screencast recording with microphone so that I can show you guys the simplicity of this PBX and the setup hereof. I think it's a bloody fantastic piece of equipment. So let me just make a few changes over here, then we'll jack it into the primary router and we'll do some screencast recording and show you guys all the basics of it. As you can see, this whole system, to get it set up, it took me longer to find a PoE adapter than it did to actually make this system work. The PBX pretty much works out of the box. Fantastic for any VoIP-based business application, up to 50 users on the S50 model. So I'm going to go now and set up for the screencast, and I'll be back for you in a second.
Hey everyone. Okay, so we've got the software set up over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to log in now to the S50. Nice login screen. I'm not setting up any of those things because I've got to reset this thing back to factory anyway, so that makes no difference. Now the basic lineup of things over here, you've got resource monitor and you've got information. Information just basically gives you a log of events. You can go to the event log and see a more detailed log of what's been happening, which is quite nice. Then you've got the resource monitor, which will tell you your LAN information, your device information, your storage usage on the device. I didn't even know it had storage, but hey, it clearly does, and all that sort of thing. Then of course here you've got the admin, language, my settings, etc. But anyway, neither here nor there. If you go into this little 9-dot thing up the top over here, you've got your basic line settings, which is all the devices. We'll go through these things shortly. Then you've got CDR and recordings, PBX monitor. Like right now, you can see I've got it registered. It's connected to my .8 zip. No problems at all. I've got no extensions hooked up to it at the moment, which is fine because I'm just showing you the interface. I'll show you about setting up the extensions in a little bit. Then of course you've got some other functionality in there, such as resource monitor, network performance, CPU, memory, LAN. You can pretty much monitor anything on this PBX, which is absolutely brilliant, I must say. Then of course you got the App Center, where you can install various applications or sub-applications or whatnot, so different add-ons, and then that sort of thing. You can go to your maintenance, which is your backup and restore of your system settings, etc. You can also go through to LDAP, set up LDAP servers, set up auto provisioning of your phones, conference panels, all sorts of other little bits and bobs over here. Okay, so now the baseline settings of this thing, you go into your settings, you would set up your trunk firstly. Now here I've got a trunk set up, so I'm just going to go into that. The trunk is a SIP trunk. The provider, it's just a name that the provider uses, or you can give it any name you want. The host name or IP address on the domain will be the same as the host name or IP address. If the port's different from 5060, you can change it here. Username, authentication name should be the same. The password and the from user should be again the same. It's a UDP, so yep, that you can change that if need be. If enabled, this trunk will not be available in routes or other channels. This is enable SLA. Okay, then you can set your codecs over here, what's available, whatever. You can choose them, add them. You got advanced over here, where you can set some advanced settings for your things. You got DoD for your trunk. But anyway, the baseline settings, you throw this information and you hit save. This trunk comes online. Okay, then you've got your extensions. It comes pre-configured with a few. If you run into your extensions over here, you can see you can set it up SIP, IX, or FXS. FXS I think only works if you've got the add-on analog cards or whatever. But anyway, we're looking at the VoIP side of things. So you can set it up over here. You can set up any features you want, such as voicemail, send voicemail to email. Pretty much the same functionality you'd get out of any advanced PBX. If it's NAT, whatever, if it's sitting behind NAT, you can set that up. Call permissions. I've got it set on the route out. I'll show you guys the routes just now. So yeah, once your extension is set up, it's provisioned, happy days, and it'll run. Okay. Now call control, you've got route in and outbound, inbound and outbound. So inbound, we'll go into the inbound one first. I've set it to go through that trunk by default, which is the only trunk I've currently got set up. And then being a route in or an inbound route, I've got to tell it where to go. You can tell it to go to extensions. You can tell it to go to voicemail, IVR. You can go anywhere, you know. Pretty much whatever you want to set that up as, you can set it up as. Then your outbound routes, again, you go through, you set your outbound route, and which extensions are allowed to use that outbound route, and Bob's your uncle, the outbound route will work. You'll be able to dial out. Like I say, very simple setup, very nice, and yeah, there's a few other things you can add in over here. Time conditions such as working hours, etc. You can do all that sort of thing on this device, which is brilliant, I must say. But yeah, very cool. The IVR is on 6500. You can play with the IVR settings, the recordings, etc. You got blacklist, whitelist, paging, intercom, SMS functionality. Geez, there's so much you can do with this device. It's actually scary. And yet everything is so simple. And one thing that I've noticed that I'm really enjoying about it is the user interface, the web user interface or web GUI is actually very responsive. It's very quick. It's nimble. You can get through things very quickly, and it just, hey, how it just works actually. Oh, by the way, you can do trunk recording, where you can record all inbound and outbound calls, so you can check up on your staff. You can do extension recording, you can do conference recording. Geez, it's endless. You can really do whatever you want to do with this device.
As far as the storage goes, I'm not sure about the availability of storage, but I do see that the device, if you recall when we had a look at it, had an SD slot. So my reckoning would be you could install an SD card in there, because you've only got 3 gigs available on the local. Now if you were to install here it is here, Transflash or SD, if you were to install that device, a nice large one, 128, 256, 512, whatever, you could configure all your recordings to go there, which would be more than large enough for you to be able to see what's going on. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant idea. I like it. But yeah, like I say, the device is epically simple to use and set up. I think most people would easily find their way around here. Yes, you can set up your email. You've got to set up obviously an email server or an email account on your web hosting, whatever you use, for the device to make use of to send out user credentials or notifications or voicemails or whatever the case may be. There's so much. I only wish that I could actually install one of these to replace my 3CX, but I think a 50-line unit would be far too big for my office, so I might actually investigate the slightly smaller options in the not too distant future, because I really, really like this piece of hardware. So yeah, there you have the basic information about the device, the basic setup of the device. You've obviously got voice prompts, music on hold, all sorts of other functionality that you can add to the system as you go and customize. So is this a recommended piece of hardware? Yes, very much so. I'm really liking its simplicity. I'm really liking its responsiveness. It is absolutely brilliant. So this is the baseline sort of review of the Yeastar S50 PBX. So yeah, if there's any questions that you guys have, I'm going to have this unit for about a week, and I'm going to be playing around with the various options and seeing things. So if there's any questions you guys may have, please post them, and I'll be sure to see if I can answer them for you as quickly as possible. But again, can I recommend this PBX? Yes, I definitely can.